Substitution of collateral, for anybody on here that doesn't know what that means, if we go buy a home with private money that's $50,000 and we put a clause in there saying we can substitute this collateral at any time with something of equal or greater value, that means somebody comes to pay me off on that house, I can take the house that they lent me on and the people pay me off and I can put a new house in its place. So you're substituting the collateral, just for anybody who was wondering where we were at on that deal. So we've got Nathan out of Frisco.
Yes, Mike. This is Raghu. Glad you offered the substitution of collateral explanation. I did not know. I was meaning to ask you that question too. Okay. So
sure.
I'm working on a deal that I'd like to give you some inputs on. The seller also, it's a kind of an owner financing deal. Seller also is very interested. But there are a couple of sticking points that I think, filtering through an expert vision and getting inputs and feedback would be a good thing for me. Let me take about a minute or so to explain the deal, and then I will take your questions on the deal if anything needs to be clarified, and then I have my questions. Okay? So, ask is $260K. It's a Dallas suburb, very nice area. Ask is $260K. The ARV, I use MLS comps. I'm paying for it. The ARV is also $260K. The only advantage is it's on a golf course. And if I owner finance the sale, I owner finance the purchase and owner finance the sale, I know I can charge more. So I can see at this point that paying $260K is a profitable deal. There are a couple of things. Now, there is a first mortgage with Bank of America, which was originally $115K from 2012. It's touching about $100K. And then there is a second with Countrywide, which I believe this guy said line of credit, and that was started with $32K. Now it is close to about $20K, maybe a little less. So, and the rentability on this, I actually took your and Mitch's idea. I took $280K as mortgage and worked backwards, and then found out that between $1,700 and $1,850, it's rentable. But the PITI is under $1,400. Yes, the taxes will go up once it comes out of homestead. Insurance might go up. So there is cash flow. There is about $400+ of cash flow. So any which way I look at it, to me it seems like a profitable deal. The way I want to buy it, of course I'll close with an attorney. The way I want to buy it is to do a wrap around both the mortgages and create a note for $260K. Now, the underlying mortgages are less than that, obviously 100 plus 20K, 120K, but I will wrap both around that and create a note back to him for $260K. The only payment will be the payment for the first and second mortgages until I cash out. And my exit strategy is also to sell on wrap, meaning buy on wrap and put another wrap on top of it and owner finance it and sell it. So this is the approach. Now, I will take a pause, and if you have any clarifying questions on this, I'll be happy to answer, and then I have my questions.
What did you say the ARV was?
The ARV is $260. It's exactly what he's asking. He was asking $270, but then there's a little bit of carpet work and appliances and things, so I talked him down to $260. And ARV is $260 also.
So you're going to have to give, what are you going to give the seller?
I'm not giving him anything, zero down, simply because I told him that I will be investing close to $10K because the carpets need to be changed, and he's taken out all the appliances, and then I have to buy new appliances. So I told him I'm investing $10K, so I'm not giving you a down payment, and he's kind of reluctantly okay.
Okay, so how much is the payment on the two underlying mortgages?
The two, put together is under $1,400. It's coming to $1,383. That's all. The first mortgage is $1,164. The second one is $290. $1,383. Okay. I expect it to go up because of taxes.
Yeah, and so how much are you going to have to pay him?
Yeah, pay him. I'm going to pay him only those mortgages. I told him I will take over, meaning even though it's a wrap, I will pay the exact amount that he was the first and second.
Okay.
So, which is the 1383 to start with. If it goes up to say 1410, I will pay 1410. Goes up to 1450, I'll pay 1450. That's why the rentability was important to me, and I made sure that between 1750 and 1850, possibly even touching 1900. So there will be a positive $400 cash flow.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Mike, it seems like a good deal to me, but here is, I don't know if I'm sitting on a time bomb. Let me ask you.
No, I mean that's a deal I would do because he's 8 years into that mortgage, and you go do it on a 30-year mortgage at 260, 270, you'll be fine.
Yeah. So, but here my concerns, tell me, maybe you could say, well, this is not a concern. See, I don't want to hang my hat on that, but I just want to get a good expert advice, right? So now, do you know from experience if Bank of America or Countrywide have more, are known more notorious for calling the loans due? Do you know, or they're all the same?
So there's some banks that I know a lot of the big sub 2 guys won't go with. But with the times we're in, you'll be fine. Because banks are going to want anybody that'll pay a loan right now.
Yeah.
So as long as that mortgage is being paid, they won't care. Also, if you ever had to borrow money, there's only 130, 50% of it's owed. So it would be nothing for you to get that done.
Yeah, if I had to borrow money, I mean, I'll have to write a check from my retirement account. I have it, but I don't want to use it that way. So that's one question. Now, I'm also hearing and reading about this. Let me validate it with you, that line of credit loans and reverse mortgages have a very high probability of being called due. Unlike the regular mortgages, LOCs and reverse mortgages have very high probability. Do you know this from your experience? That's why I said time bomb, right? I don't want to be sitting on a time bomb.
We asked the question again.
The question is, from everything I am reading, the line of credit, his second is a line of credit. The line of credit loans and reverse mortgages have very high probability of being called due rather than a typical mortgage. Yeah, line of credit.
No, like I said, banks right now aren't getting paid, whether it's a line of credit or a mortgage or anything. For the next couple of years, banks are just going to be ecstatic to get paid. They're not looking to do a foreclosure. The Texas A&M Real Estate Institution is thinking that roughly 10% of mortgages aren't getting paid right now because of COVID. So there's no way a bank is going to foreclose unless they absolutely have to. So I wouldn't worry about that at all.
Okay. So it's because of the timing, right? It's because of the timing that we are in. You are thinking the risk is very, very low. But otherwise, during normal times, is line of credit riskier than a typical mortgage and reverse mortgage?
I've never had an issue at all.
Oh, you're not an issue. So that's the other. Now, I can buy on wrap and I can also sell on wrap, right? Meaning I'm wrapping the first and second, and then I'm giving him a note back for 260. So I can take that wrap and then wrap another a note back to me for 275, 280, 285, whatever. I mean, all this done with an attorney. But is it commonly done? You buy on wrap and then you sell on wrap, meaning a wrap on top of a wrap?
Yes.
So it's nothing more risky than
no, it's not. That's nothing out of the ordinary.
Okay. So, but tell me what's my one risk, right? I mean, I know the banks are not going to call the loan due, but should that happen, let me explain something as my position. Tell me if it's validating or not. If this is suddenly called due, right? My first mortgage is only 100K. So my options are, if I sign the deed back to the seller and the title changes back to the seller, the bank will stop calling it due. Is that correct assessment? Or once they call it due, it's due, you better pay it off?
Yeah, usually once they call it due, because they've got attorney's fees and all kinds of stuff into it. So usually once they start, they're not going to stop. It goes in the queue, and that's that. They're calling it due.
So not being able to pay in that situation, let's say 6 months into this is called due, right? And when it's called due, my first mortgage will be, let's say, 100K. My second will be, say, 20K. I don't have 120K, just for argument. Now I am not able to pay. Now what? Foreclosure?
Yes.
Okay. And like I said, I don't want to hang my hat on this and then just let a good deal go through without doing it. But I also want to understand the risks and do the benefits outweigh.
It doesn't sound like a lot of risk because you're not giving him anything down. So what risk do you have? The worst risk you have is ruining your reputation by not paying it, and fulfilling your end of the obligation. That's the worst risk you have, but you do not have a financial risk at all.
But there is a financial risk. The reason I'm not giving him a down payment is because I'm investing 10K in that house, right? I told him, I'm not giving you.
How much are you going to ask for a down payment?
So it will be about, say, close to 10%, be about 25K.
So where's your risk? You're only into a 10, but you're going to get $25,000 down payment.
Yeah. So now the guy that's given me 25K down, right? That's even a bigger risk, right? The non-refundable option deposit. Now I have to sell it. I cannot lease auction it, right? I sell it on a wrap and collect 25K from him. Now the bank calls the loan due. Now what happens? See, that's the risk I wanted to kind of weigh and consider and then understand my position before going in, right? I'm buying on wrap, I'm selling on wrap and collecting 25K. Now bank calls the loan due 6 months later. Now what?
You can either pay that off, you can either borrow private money to pay that off or let it go back to the bank. If it was me, I would borrow private money and get it paid off. There's not risk in asking someone to loan you 50% of what a note is worth. So, but if you don't want to do that, then you'd be letting it go back and it could potentially ruin your reputation.
Yeah, no, that last thing I want to do is to ruin my reputation. That's why I'm asking my kind of exit strategies so I can line up, but not simply go to town on that. I just want to do the deal, but also understand the risks and probabilities well to go do this deal. So there is good profit in it as I see it. So you also think if you are in my position, you will do this deal, right?
Yes, I would do that deal.
Okay. All right. I will go with, I don't think there's any other question. So my bigger concern was not so much that I will invest $10,000 and the bank calls due. The bank calls due, the $10,000 goes. I'm okay, right? I screwed up. I'm okay. So I collect 25K from somebody. I sell it to him on owner finance. Now he asks me his 25 back because the loan is called due. That's a bigger risk for me, right? It's a $25,000 risk.
Yes.
Okay. All right. But if all parties, the deals are closed by attorneys, and if all parties understand that the risk of the banks calling the loan due, although low in probability, actually exists and they all sign off, can they still come and claim the 25K from me?
Yeah, they might come back and say we want our 25K back, but you say I disclosed what the potential risk was. Now, if it was me, I would give the $25,000 back to secure my reputation, but you could potentially say, hey, I'm not giving you the down payment back. You knew the risk when we closed. I laid out the risk for you, and you chose to try to own the house anyways, and leave it at that.
Okay, so I can take that position and not violate, not. So you're saying you will do this for your reputation. All right, I got your point. Okay. All right, thank you. Thank you, Mike.
All right, thank you.